Good morning, Dimple ji. How are you? We can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Very
Rains
well.
in Delhi. Rains in Delhi still torrential or better?
Better, much better. Nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
Very beautiful, in fact. Okay. Today is our chapter 6, the
Yes,
Jnana.
Jnāna-yoga. Yeah. See, what Adi Shankara says is the only way to moksha is through jnanam. Bhakti, karma yoga are all preparatory disciplines. They can go alongside. Bhakti is very important because you must have shraddha. Karma yoga is also very important. It has to refine the mind, to get that antakarna shuddhi. But ultimately, the only path to moksha is through knowledge, because moksha is a result of ignorance, lifetimes of ignorance.
Yeah.
And the only way ignorance goes is when you get knowledge.
Absolutely.
So ultimately, it is knowledge that will set you free. No action can do it. You can't go jumping up and down saying moksha, moksha, or doing a japa of moksha, moksha. That only just probably will give you some antakarna shuddhi. But to know what moksha is and how to achieve it is only through jnanam.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Super. So now with this Gyan, we'll start our sadhana. So let's just start chapter 6, Jnana-yoga.
Yes.
Now we have to look at Jnana-yoga, which is the third and final stage of sadhana prescribed. When a person becomes more and more refined and disciplined, he begins to question the very purpose of life. Introspection becomes serious. When a person seriously questions his pursuit, he finds all his pursuits are meaningless ones. They're not what he's seeking for. His pursuits take him onwards towards dependence only. When a person realizes that he's going more and more towards dependence only, he starts questioning whether he's really interested in dependence or independence. The instinctive urge of every living being is freedom. A bird is never happy in a cage. An animal is never happy in a zoo. A child is never happy if it is confined to its room. It wants to be free. Even a child holding on to his mother's hand decides to become free the moment it finds itself strong enough to be on its own. The innate urge of every human being is renunciation of all dependencies. This tyag is not a struggle, it is the innate nature of everyone. A person is holding on to things now, not because he loves these things, but because he has found that he cannot be otherwise. The moment there is a choice, he will give up everything because every person wants to depend on himself alone. What one seeks is not dharma, arth, or kam, but the renunciation of these. Freedom from dependence on these. Moksha is giving up of dependence and discovering independence. This is the innate nature of all humanity. In fact, all living beings. Therefore, a person who is a karma yogi and upasana yogi slowly gets convinced that what he wants is moksha or freedom. His top priority is not arth. It remains merely an incidental thing needed for living. His top priority is not calm. Entertainment is like a pickle, which can never be the main dish. Similarly with dharma, none of them is his top priority. Moksha alone is his top priority, he discovers. Now, his problem is how to discover that self-dependence or independence. He continues with Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga. With this grace of the Lord, he finds help from outside. Either he comes across a person who's informed about moksha, such a meeting is called satsang, or he comes across a book which discusses the topic of moksha. He gets more information regarding moksha from the scriptures or from the people who had learned the scriptures. You want to add something?
No, it's fine, quite self-explanatory. Yeah.
Seek within.
Seek.
Yes, seek within.
Mm.
The first thing that the scriptures point out is that security and happiness can never be got from outside. The moment I read this statement, a bell rings in my heart. The inner heart tells me that the scriptures tell is a truth. I myself have experienced this in my life. Now develop a faith in the scriptures. I feel that the scriptures know about life and its goal. When an astrologer reveals something correct about the past, I develop faith in the astrologer. So when he predicts something about the future, even though it is unknown to me, I start believing in what he says because I have checked the truth of his prediction from the past. Similarly, the scriptures tell the truth that the world cannot give security and happiness when I have been discovering all the time. I'm able to conquer and develop some kind of faith in the scriptures. Then the scriptures reveal the next thing. The security and happiness can never be found in the external world because they are my very nature. What is within me, I cannot find outside. If I miss a key which is in my pocket, I will never find it anywhere else, however hard I may search for it. Since the search is a misplaced search, I fail. My failure is not because of any lack of effort on my part. It is because of the lack of direction. Thus, I am told that security and happiness are my own innate nature.
Prachi, I'm just going to jump in here. When they say that security, when they say happiness is your own nature, what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. You want to be happy, which means that that is your nature. If it was your nature to be sad, then you should be very happy feeling sad or sorrowful. But nobody wants to feel sad or sorrowful. Everybody wants to be happy. That is because they know that is their true nature. It's just that they have over lifetimes not understood why they are not feeling happy, because the pursuit is wrong. You want what is your nature, and happiness is your nature, actually, Ananda. And that's why that's why they're saying that it's your nature.
Right. In other words, I understand that I need not depend on anything for my security and happiness. My very nature is independence. Since independence is my very nature, dependence makes me uncomfortable. If dependence is natural to me, depending on the external world will make me feel comfortable. But the fact is, I'm not very comfortable with dependence. All the time, I'm struggling to stop being dependent. I'm like the child who wants to drop his mother's hand and run away the moment he realizes that he can be on his own. Whatever is unnatural will make me feel uncomfortable or sick. In our body system also, as long as things are normal, we find ourselves healthy and comfortable. The moment something enters into our system which is unnatural to us, we become uncomfortable and there is a struggle to eject that foreign body. Therefore, the struggle to get rid of an unnatural situation is natural. As dependence is unnatural to us, we are naturally struggling for independence because it is my very nature. The scriptures point out that our nature is moksha. Due to ignorance, we have disowned our nature and taken ourselves for granted. A person analyzes the nature of everything in the creation. We study plants, animals, stars, atoms, rivers, mountains, and the like. Everybody does research without inquiring into the basic thing. Who am I? Without making an inquiry, I have concluded that I am a miserable mortal, depending on the external world for my happiness. This has been unquestioned. This has been an unquestioned conclusion regarding myself. Therefore, the scriptures say that we require is jnanam or knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of our own true nature, which is discovery of independence, discovery of moksha. The person until now a mumukshu, a seeker of freedom, becomes a seeker of knowledge of his own independent nature. What is the difference between a mumukshu and a
Jignasu.
jignasu? Yes. Mumukshu is a seeker of freedom, and Jignasu is a seeker of knowledge. Mumukshu seeks freedom, but he does not know how to accomplish it. He has no direction. On the other hand, a Jignasu is an informed Mumukshu. He knows that his problem is self-ignorance. He seeks self-knowledge. He has direction. Pramanam, means of knowledge. We know that any knowledge can be gained by using a proper instrument or means of knowledge. To know the colors, I have to use an instrument called the eyes. To hear a sound, I have to use an instrument called ears. To know the taste, I have to use the instrument called the tongue. In short, without an instrument, I cannot gain any knowledge. The means of knowledge is called pramanam. There are many pramanams for our convenience. We can divide them into the two, primary pramanam and secondary pramanam. Primary praman is directly perception and secondary praman is analysis of direct perception. From this analysis, we can derive more information. The biochemist presents his clinical data from direct perception. The doctor arrives at the disease through analysis. This is secondary pramanam. But all those instruments are meant for studying the world. None of them is useful for studying oneself. This is because sense organs basically are extrovert in nature, so they cannot help in the study of the subject, which is myself. The eyes cannot see themselves. Then
Can I just jump in here? This is just to tell you a little bit about pramana. According to Shastra, there are 6 pramanas. I was just looking for my notes. One tends to forget this. So there is, I'm trying to remember the names. Look at me now, I'm drawing a blank. There's inference, which is pratyaksha pramana. When you see something, you can infer what it is. Then there's another one called arthapati, which is postulation. Then there is anuplabdhi, which is absence of something. Even that is knowledge. Absence of something is knowledge. So there are 6 different pramanas. I'll try and get some information and send it to you because right now I'm kind of blanking out on it. But the last pramana they talk about is Shabda Pramana. Shabda is the spoken word, spoken or written word or a language. Okay. And according to when you study the Shastra, you take the Shastra to be Shabda Pramana because it is giving you a knowledge which cannot come from any other source. You cannot kind of stumble across the knowledge of moksha. You cannot stumble across what is karma yoga, not karma yoga, but basically what the principles of moksha is. That's why we look upon our Shastra as a pramana, as a Shabda Pramana for study. But I will send you a little note, Prachi, on what the pramanas are as per what the Shastra beautifully described. Nothing is missed out.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So, but all those instruments are meant for studying the world. None of them is useful for studying oneself. This is because sense organs basically are extrovert in nature, and so they cannot help in the study of the subject, which is myself. The eyes can't see themselves, then what to talk of my true nature? Thus we discover that all the regular instruments of knowledge are for search of an object and not for the study of the subject. Now the scriptures come and tell us that there can be only one means by which one can know the self, and that is the scriptural teachings themselves. The end portion of the Veda, that is Vedānta, serves as a verbal mirror in revealing my nature. When I want to see my eyes, I look in a mirror. There are no other means. Similarly, I use Vedantic words as a mirror to see my nature. There are no other means. This means is called Shabda Pramana. Beautiful. Role of Guru. Then the seeker encounters another problem. When I try to study Vedanta in any language, whether it is Sanskrit, English, Telugu, Tamil, or Kannada, I don't understand anything of it. In fact, it seems to be a bundle of contradictions. In one place, it says that my nature is not known through the mind. Elsewhere, it says mind alone knows. Thus, it goes on using the language of contradictions. Therefore, I'm not able to use the scriptures properly because I do not have the key to open the scriptures. The situation is like having a cold Coca-Cola bottle with me when I'm thirsty, but I'm not able to drink it because I don't have the opener. The scriptures seem to be a source of knowledge, but I do not have the key to open it. The key seems to be somewhere, but not within my reach. The scriptures themselves say that I have to go to a guru if I want to open them. The guru has a secret key or secret number. Resorting to a trial and error method is not going to be of much use. The only method is to seek the guru humbly, ask him for he knows the answer, the right answer. If you want to avoid wasting time and wandering all over, the best thing is to take the help of a guide. Guru Mukta Vedanta, Vikara, the only
Vichara.
Vichara, yeah, it is A with an R, yeah. Guru Mukta Vedanta Vichara. The only method of gaining knowledge is inquiry into Vedanta with the help of a guru. This is,
I want to tell you why this is important. Because when you read something on your own, saying, oh, I can manage, there's a very good book or something, there is always your subjectivity that comes in, and you can misinterpret something and not understand it properly. Whereas when they're talking about these gurus, they all belong to a parampara, which is an unbroken lineage going up to Adi Yogi, in the sense that one after the other, each guru has taught the next person. So there is a way of giving clarity and unfolding a vision. If you belong to a parampara, you will not deviate from him. You'll say it the right way and you will not confuse your students. It may take time to understand, but they follow a particular way of explaining, which is very important. Otherwise, these are just words, when people, all the neo-Vedantins, when they talk about certain things, they're just words. So how much do they really, this is actually a systematic and consistent study that gets you to the point where you start understanding. That's why guru is important, and belonging to some parampara, some lineage has to be there. Not somebody who suddenly says, oh, you know what, I learned this, now I can give you a lecture. Yeah. So all these are talks which are given, these are like Swami Paramatmanand, they all belong to a very unbroken, long lineage. So that is why, even though we don't have a guru, we are reading, this book is our guru and his lectures are like our guru. We're not trying to guess things on our own. We're going by what the parampara does. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you. The only method of gaining knowledge is inquiry into Vedanta with the help of a guru. This is called Jñāna-yoga. In other words, it is inquiring into the scriptures with the help of a teacher. Now comes the next question. If I'm going to be able to study the scriptures with the help of a teacher or without the help of a teacher, will it not be bookish knowledge? Will it not be second-hand knowledge? How can it lead to discovery of the self? Can it give first-hand knowledge? Yes. The teacher gives first-hand knowledge and not second-hand. If it is properly received from a teacher who knows how to teach properly, and if both the student and the teacher are competent enough, then the very communication will lead to an instantaneous self-discovery. Direct and indirect knowledge. The rule goes like this. Suppose I want to know about the Himalayas, which is far away. I read a book on Himalayas. Naturally, when I read a book on the Himalayas, I get the knowledge of the Himalayas. Is this knowledge first-hand or second-hand? Definitely it's second-hand knowledge. From this, we get the general law that any word describing a remote thing will give only indirect knowledge. If the self is also remote, then the study of the scriptures will also give an indirect knowledge only. I will have to go and meet the self. But the self is not like the Himalayas or London. It is not a remote object. The self happens to be my own intrinsic nature. Therefore, when words describe a thing which is intimately available, then the knowledge gained is not indirect but direct. I went to a school many years ago, as a school headmistress had invited me for a talk. When I reached the school, the headmistress was not there. She had gone to the next room to attend to a phone call. The other teachers who were there, who had together organized my talk for the teacher of the school, did not know me in person, nor had they seen me either. They only knew me that a Swami was going to come. Only the headmistress knew me in person. At that time, I was much younger and much thinner. The teachers had expected an elderly person. In their vision, a Swami was usually an elderly person with a beard, and that too a grey beard. When I got down, I saw them waiting with a Kumbham and the other things, but nothing was offered to me. I got down and stood in the corner waiting for the headmistress. Later on, I came to know that they had concluded that I should have been a disciple of Swami Paramarthananda. Swami Paramarthananda.
Paramarthananda. Yeah.
One of the disciples should have come in early to set the stage. Then the headmistress came and welcomed me. The teachers discovered only then that I was the Swami they were waiting for. When the headmistress addressed me as Swami, through her words, they discovered Swami Paramarthananda. Previously, they were waiting for me entirely unaware of my identity. The moment they heard the word, they discovered me. This discovery is direct knowledge. Jnāna-yoga and direct knowledge. Therefore, we can conclude that words can give direct knowledge when the object of knowledge is already experienced in front. In the same way, the scriptures are talking about my own inner nature, which is not away from me. The scriptural study thus can give me direct knowledge through Jnāna-yoga. Jnāna-yoga involves 3 stages: Shravanam, Manamam, and
Mananam.
Yeah,
Mananam.
Yeah, Mananam. You Manan karte na? So yeah, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidhi Dhyasanam. Shravanam means inquiry into the scriptures with the help of a guru. Shravanam is not passive hearing. It requires the full participation of the student, and he has to travel along with the teacher. The teacher is trying to communicate something which is not an object, but which is my own true nature. In fact, a consistent and systematic study of the scriptures for a length of time under the guidance of a competent guru is Shravanam. In other words, looking into the scriptural mirror, which the teacher showed me, for me is Shravanam. Initially, when I start doing Shravanam, I get lots of doubts. I should never ask questions in the beginning. I will have to be patient. Whatever question comes up, I should keep in my mind or write in a book with the hope that all the questions will be answered as I understand more and more, as the teachings open up new vistas, as the unfolding starts revealing new information. The student should have faith in scriptures and the teacher for this. Therefore, no questions are allowed. Just receive the whole vision comprehensively. Let all the questions be there. And having done comprehensive listening for a length of time and having got all the aspects of teaching, look back at your questions. A painter cannot paint the whole picture in one stroke. The painting unfolds gradually. Until the painting is over, don't disturb the painting. Similarly, Shravanam should not be done for a length of time, setting aside all your doubts. Therefore, the teacher says, now come on, see if you accept the teaching. See if you're convinced. Mananam. After Shravanam, the student can come out with any number of questions. All the doubts are let loose and all of them are attacked. This is called Mananam. This continues until I'm convinced. There should never be any doubt or question. Once I have Shravanam and Mananam satisfactorily, I feel convinced that I can be independent. But as I have been addicted to dependence for so long, I find it difficult to be independent. I have to try to give up all the dependencies just as a person addicted to smoking tries to give it up. I can help him by telling him that he can live without smoking. Similarly, we have to learn to come out of all dependencies. Nididhyasanam. The person addicted to smoking is slightly nervous of leaving it as he has been addicted to it for years. Hence, there's a doubt if he can live without it. There are withdrawal symptoms and he has to train himself to handle them. This is discovery of true independence. The third state is called Nididhyasanam. Nididhya.
Sanam.
Nididhya. Nididhya means what?
Nididhyasanam actually means, when they talk about it in Vedantic terms at least, is that you sit and do self-introspection or contemplation on the teaching. Lovely. That is Nididhyasanam. See, they talked about in meditation also when we did Jñāna-yoga. Yeah. So there are different forms of meditation. So Vedantic meditation is not getting into a state of relaxation or mindlessness or doing japa. Vedantic meditation is very simple. You could be walking about and you are revising or reliving in your own thoughts what you studied. So contemplation on the teaching is also Nididhyasanam. And also repeated listening after you've heard Shravanam for a long time, anything that helps you to sit and focus and mull over the teaching, dwell on the teaching is Nididhyasanam.
So in a way, we can call Nididhyasanam is also reflections.
Yes, absolutely.
Reflecting, that's it.
Reflecting on what, for example,
studies that. What you've got.
I'll tell you something. Like I very often when I'm walking, I sit and I know it's my technique, let's say, is that there's this one of these young students in our group who very often calls me with a doubt. So it's like I'm talking to her. So I am reliving different parts of the teaching in my walk. While I'm walking to keep my mind busy, I discuss, it could be about the 3 orders of reality, it could be about pramana, it could be about anything. So in the process, I am revising what I have learned. Okay. What happens is that, see, you hear it all once, but all these capsules of knowledge have to go deep into your subconscious. Absolutely. Only then will they become natural. And that process happens with repetition also. Mm-hmm. For example, we just did a text called Drig Drishya Viveka, which we finished, which is a bit of an advanced text, but it was, it just is one text that really made me think. I'll tell you I don't know if I discussed this with you sometime, Prachi. There is always a subject and an object. Yes. Okay. I'm the subject. This book in front of me is the object. I'm looking at the book. I don't think, I say, oh, it's my book because I got it from or whatever. So I say my book, but I don't think I'm the book. My glasses, but I don't think I'm the glasses. So basic rule is what? Anything you can objectify is not you, the subject. A subject and object can both never be the same. My car, I don't think I'm the car. My house, you could even say my dog, my donkey, whatever. So, okay, then you also use the term my body. So you are objectifying the body also. First of all, you see the world and you say, this is the world, it's other than you. But then you can objectify everything in the world, your relationships, other people, whatever their nature. But then when you say my body, you are objectifying the body also. Yeah. Then you say my eyes. So you're not the eyes. You even say my mind. So you're not the mind. So ultimately what you come to is that you are that consciousness which is witnessing all this. That is your real nature. So all these words, you see, their words can sometimes, at some point you get that epiphany and you realize that, okay, yes, now I understand when they're saying I'm the subject, this is what they mean. Because if I'm objectifying my mind, because I know my mind is relaxed today or my mind is disturbed or whatever it is, it means that I'm not the mind, my thoughts. So I'm not the bundle of thoughts that make me act in certain ways. So it's a slow, gradual process, understanding. And that is what it means by saying that you're truly.
बेटा तो नाश्ता
Lovely. Thank you so much. So let's read this again, once again, to understand Nididhyasanam. The person addicted to smoking is slightly nervous of leaving it as he has been addicted to it for years. Hence, there is a doubt if he can live without it. There are withdrawal symptoms and he has to train himself to handle them. It's a discovery of true independence. This third stage is called Nididhyasanam. And through Nididhyasanam, the person learns to drop dependencies and be independent. Initially, there is fear. There are also withdrawal symptoms, but later he finds that he can be happy without people around. He discovers he can live alone too. In short, Nididhyasanam helps in converting knowledge into emotional strength. Thus, through Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, a person becomes a Jivana Mukta,
Jivan.
Jivan Mukta, a liberated person. Jivan
Correct.
liberated person. Now
So
one.
there are two types of mukti. There's Videha Mukti and there is Jivan Mukti. So so one means when they say you get Jivan Mukta, it means that nothing bothers you beyond a point. You learn to become an emotionally mature person. Videha Mukti is when a Jnani becomes a Jnani, then there is no future birth. But you can have mukti, I mean, you can have moksha, let's say, even in life. And what does that moksha mean? It means not getting bothered by whatever happens.
Right.
So that is a process of maturing. So that's what they mean when they say Jivan Mukti. Being getting Videha Mukti or becoming a Jnani that you get ultimate moksha is something different that we'll discuss later. Like, for example, I remember myself when I was younger, if something if anything malfunctioned, it would bother me. It could be the power going off or the air conditioner not working or the Wi-Fi not working, anything. But now I found over the years, when something like that happens, it's okay. I say, everything's not going to work all the time. So if it's not working, let it be, just relax. So that I feel has been such a gradual process for me over the years. All of us will find this experience that life is not going to stay the same. It's going to be up and down. So today it's not working. Fine, do something bothering you. Keep yourself busy. That's it.
Lovely. It's beautiful to introspect on learnings of the Vedanta every week for like about half an hour, just 20 minutes of it. And, you're kind of sorted and you kind of have something to ponder over the week. So I think it's very beautiful that on every Thursday, Guruvar, we get together and we share your visual, your
It's a very special, very, very, very special day also. Huh?
Yeah, Guruvar, the day of learning.
Tomorrow is Ganesh Chaturthi, right?
Yes.
But today is what they say Ambal, it's that particular, in the south at least, today is considered a very auspicious day also.
Oh, it's auspicious day everywhere. I think even Jains are going through their Paryushan cycles and all that. So
Yeah.
it is, overall, these are very holy days.
Correct.
So we had the new moon also. So a lot of things are coming up. Yeah. Thank you, Dimples, for sharing your light.
Thank you for being such a motivating force. At least it becomes revision for me and it's enjoyable, really enjoyable to be able to share this with all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.